Welcome to an amazing time of training to help you take your iPro amazing experience and just supercharge it. I'm Tonya Hofmann, and this is Mr. Bishop Stewart. Hey, Bishop.
Hi, how you doing?
And then Nigel's around there somewhere, and hopefully he'll come in a minute too. So we're going to be going back and forth and having a great chat. So I am excited about giving you the information today on really kind of how to sell without being super salesy. And before I get started, I'd love to hear Bishop's take on it, and what his ideas are, kind of how he's done it, because obviously he's brought in a lot of people himself and helped a lot of people bring people in. And I know he's helped me a lot. So if you don't know Mr. Bishop Stewart, oh my gosh, you're in for such a treat. He's actually my personal sponsor. Yay, me. And I feel very blessed. As soon as we got together, we just went doing, and we just clicked, and we just had fun, and we've been laughing ever since. But seriously, he has built so many million-dollar businesses, and he knows this industry. So I really want y'all to take heart in what he's about to tell you, because it comes from a real experience, okay? So Mr. Bishop, would you like to take it from here?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me move this a little closer here. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, barely. You're very soft.
Okay, hold on 1 second.
Do you?
Hey, Tonya?
Yes.
If you want to go ahead and take us, we're going to move so we can talk louder. We're going to go to a different location really quick.
Okay. All right. So I'll get started. Y'all just come back. Alrighty, so we'll just get started as they find a spot. That's what happens when you're out there actually working and things happen. Like they had it, a meeting that ran over. So you don't just stop, but you do have backup, right? So that's what we need to all work on is leadership. So that'll be another episode, is leadership skills. So I'm excited to give y'all some information today because I have had such a huge response to IProNetwork, and I want to share with you what I've learned. And now I've learned a long time ago how to sell without being salesy. And yes, every once in a while I do come off as salesy. We all have that moment. Okay, this is about an imperfect world and imperfect beings because we are human. So I want you to first of all, I want you to give yourself permission to be imperfect. There is no hard, fast rule. Darn, right? You're like, I just want to follow step one, step two. But there really isn't, because we all are human and we all have different takes on things. And a lot of times, to be honest with you, it all boils down to just a conversation. But it's the conversations that you have that determine if it comes off as salesy or not. And I want you to think about you. So when you pick up that phone and someone's like, would you like some insurance? I know you need some, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, whoa, wait a minute, I didn't ask for this. Salesy, right? When someone starts to try to sell you and you didn't give permission for them to sell you, you feel like they're pushing their thing on you, no matter if you need it or not, right? I've pushed people away that I needed their stuff. Too bad, right? So you've got to remember, it all comes down to, do you like the person? Do you trust the person? And did you get the information that you needed? And that means that that's what you've got to do for the person you're talking to, right? Now, if you're talking to somebody that already loves you, a friend, a family, well, they already like you, maybe. They trust you, but you're too close to them, right? They probably seen you mess up before. And they're like, oh yeah, you're into something else, right? Now, some of our family actually thinks that we're amazing and that, they'll follow and do things with us. But a lot of us who've got family, they're like, whatever. So this is what I did for family and really close friends, is I sent them all a text. I said, hey, I just got into something. It's where you can build your own e-commerce store. You can do all kinds of e-learning about how to use the internet for a business, and it also involves cryptocurrency. If you want information, let me know. If not, fine. but this is the only time I'm going to talk to you about it. Check. So I had some of my family and friends actually reached out and said, now what is this? What's cryptocurrency, right? And they got the conversation going, and several of them joined, okay? But that's it. So that's all I do with family and friends. The rest is acquaintances and strangers. Now, the conversation with acquaintances, such as people on your Facebook, so they've seen posts from you, LinkedIn, they've seen your profile, Twitter, they've seen you posting, Instagram, they've seen pictures, Pinterest, they might have seen pictures, right? So on these accounts, you're really wanting to have conversations with people, and it's a numbers game, okay? So what I do every day is, we'll just take LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a great one. If you're a professional and you've got a professional looking, kind of LinkedIn profile, and it doesn't look like you're trying to sell everything all the time on there, which is another issue, then what you can do is send messages to the people who want to be your friend, right? Same thing with Facebook and Twitter and everything. So when someone requests your friendship, then what you're going to do is send them a message back. Hey, I'd love to chat and get to know you. Now, I use a calendar system to line people up because I've got so many, because I've got multiple businesses, right? So I have to keep my calendar really straight. So every day, my hour by hour play, right, is just completely filled, right? I'm booked for the next 2 weeks because this is a system I use and I use consistently. Now, my husband's been doing this, and his isn't quite as successful. We're working that out because a lot of times you've got to also be posting. What are you posting on there? If you're not posting anything, then they're like, well, this person's not active. Why do I want to follow him? Why do I want to engage? Or if they go to your profile and they see a bunch of things that they're like, I don't know what he's doing, right? So you have to remember that people are looking for certain types of people. And what you do every time you post something on any of these platforms, you're actually filtering, which is awesome. You're filtering to the people who will love you. So you've got to remember, you send out 10 posts, you might get one person who says, yeah, I want to chat. Okay. So take, say, 20 posts, because remember, you can't go over 25 in Facebook, and I think even LinkedIn has limits now. So just don't do too many, but I mean, even if you have a couple hundred, it'll take a while to get through them. So do like 10 a day or whatever. Just send a quick little instant message to each person on your list, and just go rant. You can go, start with A's and go down. Just remember who you've already sent one to. And usually when you start messaging them, what you've already sent them in the past will show up. So that's another way for me to say, oh, did I send that to them already? Now let's talk about how to not be salesy. Now, your post didn't say anything about selling them something, right? It just said you wanted to chat and get to know them, see what they're up to, see what they are doing. So the conversation goes, on your time, right? You call them right on the dot. Now, I set an alarm on my phone so that I don't miss it. I set it for 2 minutes right before I'm supposed to call the person. So as soon as it hits, boing, 10 o'clock, boom, I call, right? I got it all ready. So when you call them, so tell me, Susie, tell me all about you. What have you been up to? You stop. Now, people's tendency is to go, right? And they're going to be so happy to go first. If you go first, you lost. It's about letting them go first. Now, most of the time, it's never an issue. For those who are more salespeople or even seasoned salespeople, it's going to be really hard to get them to go first. But if they're like, oh yeah, but I'm really excited about what you're doing. I hear that you're doing cryptocurrency or something. Now, my first tendency is to go, yes, I am, right? Let me tell you all about it. But instead, I pull myself back. I said, yeah, I know, I'm having so much fun. But I see that you're a realtor. Have you been doing it a long time? As soon as you ask them a question, the human tendency is to answer. That's how you switch it around. So go second. Okay. So Susie goes and she's going and she's talking. Now, what you're going to be listening to is clues. Has she been doing it for a long time? Is she doing it just for a short time? Is she just retired? Is she bored? People usually start talking about everything, way more than you've ever experienced, right? So you just start to have a conversation with Susie, real conversation, dig in to who Susie is. And then after that, now you can expand from there because you can ask her questions. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, wow, you're a realtor. That's awesome. So I bet you're looking for people, to whoever is trying to come into your city, right? Because you got to remember that it's still about them. What is their interest? Are they just wanting to do things locally? What are they wanting to do? Are they struggling? Are they doing really, really well? So that when you start the conversation, say Susie, she's been a realtor, but she just got started, or she's been doing it for 3 years and she enjoys it, but you can tell it's not like her passion. So then when it's your turn, then you can kind of focus on what you think Susie's going to be interested in. Now, this is the way I approach it when I start. Because they usually say, so tell me what you're doing. I'm like, oh my gosh, I really, and this is where your story comes in. Your why. Do you have your story down? Do you have your why down? So I always let people know, oh yeah, I own the Public Speakers Association, but you know what happened just recently? Because I'm trying to get them away from what I used to be doing, right? I'm still doing it, but I don't want to focus on that. I want them into iPro. I make a lot more money. So I throw that out there because they've seen it on my profile. So whatever you got on your profile, that's what you'd want to say. But then I switch it and I give them my story. And 2 years ago, my husband went blind. I know, can you believe it? And because usually they're commenting back, right? This is a conversation. You're having actual conversation. You're actually building a relationship with this perfectly good stranger. Okay? Because what you're wanting to also do is decide, is this person you even like? Right? There's been people on the phone that I hear them, and in 5 minutes, I don't talk about anything I do. I'm like, oh, that's great. Well, you have a great life. And bye. So there are people that you just want to cut and block them from your, LinkedIn or whatever you just met them at. So it's a great filtration system. You want to filter out people who, you don't even connect well with. And then you say, ready? Yeah, I've gotten into this really awesome company because, this is your because point. You have to give them a story. I talk about my house being destroyed, my, savings just being kind of wiped away, and that I'm scared. And I started looking around for something fantastic that has longevity, and especially with reoccurring income. I said, now I got into a brand new network marketing company because I love network marketing. Yeah, I actually tell people that. If you're like, try to avoid the whole network marketing, when you actually have to talk about it, it's going to come off really bad. So I just throw it out there. Because realistically, if you look at it, 9 out of 10 people I talk to have already been in some type of network marketing, MLM, direct sales company sometime in their past. You don't have to even explain the concept. They've got the concept. Now, the compensation may be different. The experience will be different, but they get it. They get why it's so important. They love residual income. That's why they got into it the first place. Okay? So I just throw it out there. Yeah, I'm in a brand new network marketing company. It just launched in July, but I got in December because I was really ready to do something amazing. And so we're doing e-commerce, so I get to have my own e-commerce store. I get to do all kinds of learning about how to have a business online. And then we've got this incredible e-trader that trades cryptocurrency, and we get, cryptocurrency back. We've got our, we're marketing a coin called ProCurrency. It's been really fun. Stop. Okay. Now you're going to listen. If you're right in front of the person, it's great because you can see their expression. But listen on the phone, because most of the time you're on the phone, and you hear what their response is. They're like, oh, okay. They're not interested. Say, well, I really have had a great talk with you today. It's great getting to know you. Bye. Okay. But if they go, oh, that's really interesting. I've always wanted to have my own e-commerce store. Boom. That's what you focus on. Or, oh, I feel I've been wanting to get into cryptocurrency. Boom. Focus on it. Oh my gosh, I've always wanted to be a trader, and I've always wanted to get into Forex. People will tell you their interest. And as long as you focus on that interest, you're not being salesy. Okay? So this is kind of the reality of this whole thing. Now I see Mr. Bishop and Nigel, do y'all want to come in, and if y'all are in a quieter place now? Here's Nigel. Hey, Nigel.
We're sat in our car, it's a little dark, and see your hands.
You're so dark.
Yes, it is in here. So what
do you think? Do you want to expand on that at all?
Yes, as you said, take an interest in them. Just poke around the conversation, see if they take the bait. Don't try and slam it down their throats. Be upfront with them. You don't need to. You don't need to try and. Let's go this way. You don't need to try and expand. Oh, is that what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, people just people don't realize that they're taking interest in somebody else. They're not out for themselves. This is not about you. It's about you changing someone's life. If they don't want to change their life, there's nothing you can do. You know, you're selling hope. You're selling a dream. You've just got to take that interest.
We can't hear you, Nigel.
Yeah.
Your phone is muffled.
Oh shoot! I don't know. I'm not.
There you go.
Is that better?
Yeah, a few seconds ago it was.
Oh, I'll try and get closer. How's that?
Everyone, I forgot to mention, Nigel is one of the top producers in IProNetwork and blows everyone away, as you can see.
Yes, me. I always try and say that you've got to, anytime they ask you a question, finish the answer with a question to them. Put it back on them. Don't just take the conversation to yourself. Because we all want to hear about ourselves, but it's them you're trying to get to know. And if you talk to someone long enough, they'll tell you their whole life story. And as I said before, always assume they're doing well at their job, they love their job. Don't ever assume that they want something that you just because you want it. Everyone's got a different want, and it's for you to find out what it is. Just ask them the questions. Be genuine about it. Make a friend. And if they answer, like I talked to a guy in the bank the other day, and I said, oh, you must love your job. Oh, I do love my job. I'm so busy, he said. I'm in the bank. I'm doing my school. He said, I haven't got time for anything else. So I jokingly said, sir, you wouldn't be looking to make money online or on the side? He says, no way. It was a joke. So it was like, I was giving a question to him. And he said, now my sister, she's really looking to make money on the side. She really needs to do something. So why don't you give me a number? And I got his sister's number. So, you know, if you ask enough questions, you'll find the right answers. I mean, I've had people tell me, yeah, I love my job and I make so much money, I'd never look at anything else. Most people go, well, are you sure I can show how to make more money? He just told me he doesn't want to do it. On the other hand, everyone wants to make money till they meet you, right, Bishop? It's like they all want to make money until they meet us.
Yes, sir.
And it's like, you can expand on that one, Bishop, I'm sure.
Well, Bishop, you want to share with us what you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right on. You know, it's so important that you get their story first. You know what I mean? It's always, you want to hear their story first and be a good listener. Genuinely care about people, because when you listen to someone's story, you're going to hear something in that story that's going to be a pain point for them, or you're going to hear some kind of need that IProNetwork can solve. And so, you know, like when I took a team out prospecting before, we went to some lounge, and there was the gentleman behind the bar, and everyone was coming up to him and saying, hey, you'd be great for this opportunity. Here's my card. You meet a lot of people. I went up and I said, hey, how you doing, man? Tell me your story. So what's your story? How long have you been here? Are you a native in California? What's going on? And people will pour out their entire life story to you because they never get asked that. Usually people are coming up to them wanting something from them instead of you genuinely caring about their situation, their pain points, and people will open up because they never get asked, what's your story? People are dying to share their story, just like everyone believes they have a book in them, right? Or that their life is the best reality show, right? So people are just waiting for someone to ask them what's their story. And if you listen well, you're going to be able to find some kind of key point in there that you can use to close them later. And one of the things that you know, I don't want to rehash what Tonya just said. It was absolutely brilliant. One of the strategies I do is called the hook me up, right? They call it the hook me up in the industry now. It's my own style. And so basically when I'm talking to someone and I say, hey, so tell me your story, they start telling me their story. And like Tonya said, sooner or later, they're going to ask you, what do you do? It always will come up. And just like Tonya said, I will say, you know, hey, well, you know, right now I'm doing X, Y, and Z. I'll bring up some of my businesses that I'm doing right now. And it doesn't really matter. But then I go into my story, just like Tonya said, she starts talking about what caused her to make this transition. And I'll say, yeah, you know, I've been running my companies and doing all this kind of stuff. But because, you know, this whole thing about going and working for yourself, but then you just end up in prison, right? Your company owns you more than you own your business. I started looking for ways to create freedom businesses. And then this is the key thing that I say. So I say what I'm doing, you know, my businesses, the charity, etc. But then I say, but what I'm most excited about right now is a friend of mine hooked me up. Okay, I said a friend of mine hooked me up. I don't know if you've heard about this whole new economy with e-commerce and cryptocurrency, and people are learning how to make money online and social media and e-learning, etc. But a friend of mine hooked me up. There's an amazing company right now that's combining where you can learn how to set up your own, just like Tonya said. And then I go through the products, right? And then I say, but don't worry about that. We'll exchange information later and I'll hook you up. And then I immediately go back into something from their story. I immediately will say, yeah, you know, and we're promoting this new cryptocurrency right now. I got Kevin Harrington and everyone behind it. And so the sky's the limit. We're doing a lot of great things right now. So anyway, so tell me again, so you and your daughter just moved down here? And when I do this, this is what happens every time, because I built the credibility by talking about Kevin Harrington and Bill Gates. Every time I take it away from them and I say, so again, so tell me about you and your daughter just moving here. They always stop me and they'll say, oh, wait, yeah, we just moved down here. But okay, what's going on again? You have this coin and e-commerce. And once they do that and they come back to me, I take it away again. And I say, yeah, but don't worry about that. We'll exchange information later and I'll hook you up. And I keep going back into something about them, because now here's the psychology behind this. Number one, I told them in the very beginning, after I said, but what I'm most excited about, and I said, a friend of mine hooked me up. When people hear the word hooked me up, they automatically think they're getting VIP treatment and they're getting access to something that other people don't necessarily have. So it makes them feel special. So when I say a friend of mine hooked me up, I'm already setting the parameters that I'm going to do the same for you. And this is all that we're doing, is we're going around hooking people up with a freedom lifestyle. And so when I later on say, don't worry about that, we'll exchange information later and I'll hook you up, I've already subconsciously planted in their mind that I'm going to get your information. We're going to exchange numbers. I'm going to get your information. And so by the time we finish this conversation, and they're keeping, you know, they're constantly asking me about it now, and I keep taking it away from them now, think about this. I'm no longer chasing them. They're chasing me now. And before we separate, like if I meet someone at a coffee shop or anywhere, before we separate, guess what's happening? They're like, hey, don't forget to give me your number. Let's exchange that information so you can send me that stuff about that crypto and all that stuff you guys are doing with Kevin Harrington and the e-commerce stuff. Now they're coming to me. And I would tell you guys, probably 6 times out of 10, before I get home, they've already texted me saying, don't forget to send me the information. Right? And then I text back, don't worry, I'm going to hook you up. This is the hook me up, because it completely subconsciously changes it where I'm not selling them. I'm doing them a favor now. That's why it's so powerful to say, hook me up, because I'm doing them a favor. Now, if someone says to me something negative, like Tonya was saying, sometimes people will say, I'm not interested in that stuff at all. You can't make money online. It's not real, or whatever. Then I immediately, before I just discount them, because I've seen people just walk away and consider it a no sell, right? And they're just like, okay, well, that guy's not interested. I always at least try one more time. And the best way that I found to do that is I use the feel, felt, found. And this is very, very powerful. Feel, felt, found. So what happens here is when someone says, you know what, I'm not interested in that, and because you can't really make money online, that's just a scam or whatever, I immediately say, hey, I know exactly how you feel. That's very important. So now I'm not battling them. I'm acknowledging how they feel. So most people, what I see they do is they get into these battles. You see it all over social media. Oh, you're an idiot. You don't know what you're talking about. People are making money online. And all of a sudden, you're degrading that prospect. And now you have them in combat mode. And you're never going to close them now. So I say, yeah, I know completely how you feel. Right? And I say, so it's feel, felt, found. I know exactly how you feel. I felt the same way. When I was running my companies, I thought I was going to have all this freedom. I didn't have freedom. I thought the only way to make money was build big companies and hire tons of people and have a warehouse. And then you go to the found. But what I found was that there's this whole new economy, that there are people of all walks of life, every age you can think about, stay-at-home moms, college students, seniors that are sitting at home. They're making tons of money selling products that you don't even have to see or touch around the world. And then I found out about this whole crypto thing, and Kevin Harrington's talking about it, Bill Gates and all these people, and it's been setting people free. And so that's why I plugged in. And then I bring back one of their pain points from their story. So like you said, you want to send your daughter to the best schools. So what I found, again, is that this is one of the best vehicles to do it. And I believe people like us, this is something we really need to tap into. I think you and I need to look at this. So here's one of the tricks that I do is I always say we. I never tell people you need to look at this. I always use the word we, because subconsciously I'm letting them know now, hey, we're a team. We're in this together. I'm just like you. I'm still trying to learn and grow more and more. So as they're telling me stuff, I don't say, hey, you go check this out. You need to look at this. I'm like, hey, we need to partner up. We need to get all over this because we need to set our families free. And I have found that ever since I started using the word we, instead of when I send someone the website or whatever, and I say, you go look at this, I say, hey, we need to jump on this. We need to be checking this out. I have found that my conversion rates have dramatically increased by just using that simple word we instead of you. I know I'm going on a tangent, Tonya, but I'm like all excited. I'm in the car now, and I'm in I just love this stuff,
I love it. I love it. I mean, we're all I've been writing notes, see?
Yeah, so that Bishop hooked me up. I literally have taken teams out to malls and different places, and people have gotten numbers from people. They've gotten people signed up. Brenda, in fact, used it on social media before, because I told people you can use this in instant messaging. The same exact conversation. I've shown it to people where I've signed up people from Facebook Messenger that I never got on the phone with. I never physically spoke to. I literally got them signed up all through Facebook Messenger, using the same exact tactic. So it absolutely works very well. So it's just a combination of what you and I just talked about, except adding in that little verbiage.
Yeah, I love it. And, especially when you get to the network marketing part, is you've got to really understand what's their hesitancy. What did they not experience that wasn't a good experience, so you can get over that hump. And so when you're like, yeah, we are going to be a team. This is a whole team that we're backing you. You're not, unless you want to be by yourself, you can choose that. But if not, we are here to help you, right?
Right. Yeah, I think one of the brilliant things you said too was about not having fear, saying it's networking. Tonya just flat out tells people it's network marketing. Yay, I love network marketing. You know what I mean? And all of a sudden that attracts people. You know what I mean? And so I love that Tonya does that, because I would probably say the majority of people, Tonya, don't do that. They're in fear of even using that word.
Oh yeah, it's so funny to me because I'll actually be having a conversation with them, asking them what to do, and you see they're circling all the way around the company that they're in, trying to avoid to say the name of the company or that it's a network marketing company. And finally, I'm like, well, you're with the da-da-da company, you know, and they're like, yeah, I am. I'm like, why aren't you saying it, you know?
Right.
And I'm like, I love network marketing. They're, you do? And they get all excited. And then
Right.
that's an easier way even to get them to talk about iPro.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. I just think, you know, the networking industry has had such a, I don't know, you know, it's interesting because so often we talk to people who are in other networking companies. And like Tonya say, 9 times out of 10, there was some kind of situation that rubbed them wrong. Like either they didn't get support. So I'll ask people, hey, that's great. You're in the other company. How's it going? Do you guys have a lot of support? And I always find these pain points. Like one lady told me, yeah, I signed up and I made some sales, but my sponsor disappeared. This was a lady who contacted me on Facebook trying to recruit me in her company. And she's like, oh, I just made X amount of sales. And I was like, oh, congratulations, stranger. I didn't know her. And I said, oh, so you're in this company? She said, yes, great. And I said, well, how's it going for you? Congratulations on your sale. And how's everything else going? And are you getting training? How's your team going? And she immediately said, my sponsors, I haven't talked to them. I'm embarrassed, but I haven't talked to them in 3 months. They completely signed me up. And I don't even know if the person's in the company anymore. And I said, oh, wow. You know, I was like, yeah, over here, you know, we're rocking. We have training. We have a lot of people. And that's what really got her in. And she wound up signing up because I found those pain points, you know. And she's like, yeah, most of our people don't understand the comp plan. They don't know this. They don't know that. So asking those questions and building a genuine relationship goes a long way. So I always tell people, don't focus on making money from people. Focus on how can I provide real value for this person and change this person's life. Like a lot of people, me and Nigel were just talking about it, they'll only focus on one product. Okay, people have to buy this product, you know, but that might not be the best thing for them. You know what I mean? The trader is not for everybody. The $6,000 package is not for everybody. The iBuy rights, you got to really find what's better for the person. And you also got to find out what their goals are. Once they do decide to do the business, what are your goals? Because that's going to help you determine what package they should get. I've had so many people, they were only going to get the trader, but when I educated them on everything, they're like, you know what, I want to get both. I want to get a package and a trader now. So it's all about really caring about people, what their goals are, because if someone says, hey, I want to achieve X, Y, and Z, but then you start them off in the $100 package, they're not going to achieve X, Y, and Z anytime soon. So you got to be very realistic when you're talking to people and educate them, and you'll be surprised at how your numbers grow by educating.
Exactly. And one of the things I wanted to also make y'all aware of, I had this great conversation with my new favorite friend now, Miss Cindy. I think she was on here. Anyways, we had this great conversation. She's a recruiter. Well, she started to call people and started telling people about iPro. Now, what happened? She kept running into people that was already an iPro person. They had never talked to Cindy about it. And they're like, you signed up? Oh my gosh, I didn't think that you would be interested, which is what I get a lot. Oh my gosh, you're with iPro? I should have told you. Yeah, you should have. So as the longer you wait to talk to somebody, because you're fearful that what they might say, the longer someone else is going to snatch them up.
Absolutely. And I think I shared that with Nigel, how we had an event. And one lady we had just recently signed up, her aunt showed up at the event. And her aunt had signed up with someone else. And her aunt's a monster builder. And this girl had been in for several months and didn't talk to her aunt. She was scared to talk to people. And then all of a sudden, I'm standing in the back of the room with her, and she gets really mad. Her face turns red. And I'm like, what's wrong? And she goes, that's my aunt up there in the front row. She goes, that's my aunt. And I go, really? The aunt you've been telling me about that's a big builder? And so we talked to her aunt. Her aunt was like, oh, yeah, I've been in. Such and such told me. And I was like, and she was like, wow, I could have got my aunt in, but she was scared to talk to her.
Yeah, yeah. And there's so many times that, too, there's also something else that happens in this industry. And just be ready and be okay with it. Someone will gravitate to someone else more. Okay? So you may tell somebody about it, and then they hear it from someone else, and they go sign up with that person. Or vice versa. You told somebody like, oh yeah, you know, Susie told me about it, but I like this idea. I want to sign up with you. Be okay, because you want the right person on the right team. don't think that everybody should be on your team. You want the right people who are going to love you and be a good teammate as well.
Now, you know what? That is such a good point, because we always say, as me and Nigel said it all the time, not everyone is good for the team. I have people right now that I have refused to sign up personally. And I was like, you got to sign up with someone else. They're just not right for the team. But what Tonya just said, you guys, please take heart in that. And you got to have thick skin, because it will happen. It happens to all of us, where we talk to someone and they just want to sign up with someone else that they resonate more with. But just know it will come back to you. Like Tonya says, you'll have people that want to sign up with you more than someone else. So just know, I'm so glad you brought that up, Tonya, because that absolutely it happens to all of us. I promise you, it's happened to Mr. Pacheco, our president. It's happened to me. It's happened to Nigel. It happens to all of us.
Yes, and just one last thing too is when you talk about having thick skin, every time I hit one person that's like, ah! You know, just like that person that just like is so ugly, what they say, you're like, oh my gosh, you know, you're like, calm down. I mean, you just feel like you need to go take a shower after you talk to them. Every single time, usually the next person is like the most amazing person I've ever talked to. But most people will stop. They won't ever go and talk to the next person. So just realize it's just the way people are, and it's the universe kind of, it's like this swing and flow type of thing. Let it go. Just say, oh, okay, well, I gave you my gift of my time. Thank you very much. Move on. It doesn't mean the end of the world.
Yeah, because what happens is people go through a roller coaster in this industry. Like, you're all excited, you just signed up, and you go talk to the first person, your best friend, and they're like, oh, you signed up for one of those? It's a scam. Oh, crypto's not real. And then all of a sudden, now you're questioning, oh, did I join the right thing? Oh, I just lost my money. Now you're down on the roller coaster. But then you call someone else, and all of a sudden they're like, oh, this is awesome. Let's meet on Thursday. And now you're on the high again. And it's just this roller coaster ride. And so you got to learn how to just keep your emotions level. And you also got to remember, it's not personal. So one of my teammates called me not too long ago, a couple months ago. He was very stressed out. I thought he was going to cry. I mean, grown man, and he was so stressed out. And he's like, man, Bishop, people are beating me up about crypto. They're beating me up about this. And I've been just all day hearing nonsense. And I said, the problem is you're internalizing it. You're taking it personal. They're not attacking you. And I said, remember, people are speaking out of their own ignorance. Right? And he goes, wow, that just really resonated with me. I was like, yeah, we all did it. I was like, remember when the guy first showed me cryptocurrency when it was at 10 cents, I was like, if you don't get that fake stuff out of my office, that little gaming token. And I was like, so I was speaking out of my own ignorance. I wasn't against him. And I said, even you, remember when you first heard about crypto and new economy stuff, you were against it. He goes, you know what? That's so true. And I was like, yeah, so don't take it personal. They're not attacking you. That's what you have to remember. It's just they're speaking out of their own ignorance. They don't have that understanding yet of how this whole thing works. And that's what we're all about, is giving them that understanding and that education. So when you don't take it personal, you enjoy this business so much more if you just, don't take things personal. Let it roll off your shoulders.
Yes. Perfect. Nigel, do you want to end with anything? You want to throw something in there?
Yeah, is it one of those pyramid things? I had someone say that to me. I had literally someone said that to me. Is it one of those pyramid things? I said, well, do you like pyramid things? Well, I don't mind if I can make money. And you know that person, by the way, Bishop. You know this person.
Okay.
And I was like, yeah, it could be if you want it to be.
Nigel. We'll have to edit that out, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow, Tonya.
All right. We won't ask
what's funny is one of my friends asked that question, and he said, he didn't say what Nigel said, but he goes, yeah, do you want to be at the top or the bottom? That's how he always answers that question. But you guys, and I don't really get asked that question ever. I have hardly ever gotten asked that question. I think a lot of times it comes from also how you present yourself, you know, with business posture, which is something we'll talk about another time because I know Tonya wants to keep these tight. But there's something called business posture. And I can tell you, when people tell me they get asked about pyramid stuff, I never get asked that. Not because I'm Bishop, it's just I've learned about business posture over the years. And that is a question I just never get. So I want to do some training on business posture too.
Maybe we'll do that next Thursday.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, because even when I do get people that are like, oh, it's one of those pyramid schemes, you know, like kind of like what Nigel, I'm like, I love this industry. You know, when you come at it as you love it, and that's why I push it, because people don't really like to come at you and say something negative. I get very few people that say anything about it negative about network marketing if I start off with it being super positive. Now, if you don't address it, then they could say, well, is that, you know, so it depends on how you're, and I think that's what he's meaning about posturing, is how you're coming at it just initially, how you're presenting it, right?
Absolutely.
Perfect. Well, I know we're going a little late, and I appreciate everyone being on tonight, but this was such a huge, important training that we needed to do. Again, we'll be covering this over and over again because it is a sticking point for a lot of people, but you just got to go and talk. The more people you talk to, the more that say yes. Not every person is going to say yes. So if your perfect world is everybody says yes that you talk to, you're going to be very disappointed. So let it go. Like I said when we first got started, be okay that you're human, that you're imperfect, and all the people you're going to be talking to are imperfect as well.
Absolutely.
Exactly. My husband's cheering. So the more, and the more you do it, right? Do all of these things, you know, do the hookup thing. I love that. Do the feel, felt, found. I hope you wrote all of that down. We need to team up. We need to be a part of a team. And so remember, okay, I love this quote I created. I know because I created it. You never, ever bother me. You just honor me by asking for help, okay? I know Bishop is that way. I know Nigel is that way. We are a team. We work. When I came in, Bishop told me one thing, and he has stuck to it, and he has been truthful about it, that he will work as hard as I want him to work for me. And I do the same for anyone. I'm sad on days when I don't get a phone call, okay? Because I'm not working for you. So you've got to use us so that we can benefit. You know, it's a team play. Anything else, guys, before we stop?
Yeah, one last thing that I'll say very quickly is what I do is I'm not focused on, okay, how many sales necessarily. What I focus on, and I kind of make it a game, is I just want to be the first to expose the business. That's my whole goal. Whether they sign up right now or not is irrelevant to me because I know the numbers, right? I know the numbers are going to work out. So for me, it's all about, I just want to get out there and be the first one to expose before someone else from iPro or someone else shares it with them. So it's kind of a game for me. I just want to be the first person to tell them about it because I know, again, they're going to hear about it from someone else or whatever, and they're going to remember, oh, wow, Bishop, yeah, that's the thing that Bishop was talking to me about. And people always send me messages almost every week now. Bishop, remember what you talked to me about before? Yeah, I'm ready. Let's go ahead and take a look at this and make it happen. And I say, why? And they say, well, because I'm hearing about it more now. Someone else talked to me about it. So my whole goal is to just be the first to expose. And that I just keep a list of how many exposures I have for the week. I set a personal goal. And I have to reach that. I don't care if they sign up or not. My goal is to, how many people am I going to expose the business to this week? And the numbers always play out. So I don't worry about the numbers. I worry about the exposures. Yes. And it always works out. Yep.
How about you, Nigel?
Yeah, I mean, just got to keep pushing forward, haven't you? So don't care who doesn't like it, care who does. And just don't go out just trying to recruit tons of people. Help the ones you've got. Help people get what they need out of this.
Right.
Yes.
I tell people, the more you bother me, the more you make.
Right. And some people will be rude to you. Nigel was rude to me. And look where he is now. It's a true story. Nigel was rude to me. He didn't want anything to do with this. So that's what I mean by, if I took it personal, Nigel wouldn't be here today. If I would have got my feelings hurt, I would not have kept pursuing Nigel, talking to Nigel, and doing all that stuff because I would have had my feelings hurt and I would have left Nigel by the wayside. but I never
You're
took
just
it
not
personally.
sensitive enough.
Right. So that's my point, you guys. They're just talking out of their own ignorance. I knew Nigel was just talking out of ignorance. He didn't understand
Right.
this whole thing, and now it's completely changed his life. So when people say that, I just look at it as a challenge. I'm like, okay, you'll want to buy me a Christmas present later. And that's exactly what I told Nigel. And so, yeah, so just let it roll off of you. I think you have some questions, Tonya.
I got him.
Okay, good.
Yeah, and that's what I do too. One of the things that you can do that, especially on LinkedIn, and it's an easy, quick, is do a update, and then it tells people that you just started a new business, a new position, and then people are like, congratulations on your new positions. Each person that says something to you is interested in you. Send them a message back, get them on the phone, have a conversation. So that's a really quick one to, have in 1 week.
Yep.
Just don't post all over Facebook what you do and what you name of your company,
Yes. Exactly.
because that will get you good.
Yeah,
Don't
what
just
you
find a way
want
to
to
go
do is
around
having conversations. You don't want to just say iPro, network marketing, this, that, e-trader. That's never going to drive people to you. Actual conversations of relationships, what will drive people to you.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yes, let me stop the recording. Hold on real quick.